All right, and welcome to Life on the Dirt Road. As you can see behind me, we are back in remodel mode. So sorry, I am not techie enough. You know me, I'm not techie. So I'm not techie enough to figure out how to put the fancy background on my Zoom. So you're just gonna have to deal with the fact that I've moved my entire downstairs into 2 rooms, okay? But the good news is the remodeling's back on, so we're excited. We're also excited to have a guest with us tonight. So you've heard me before jabber about how important gardening is and how important access to fresh vegetables and produce is. And I know you've heard me mention the Tower Garden, and a few of you even reached out to ask me what it was and how it worked. Well, I don't sell the Tower Garden. It's not one of the things I market. And so tonight I invited a guest who knows all about the Tower Garden. She's the expert. So let me introduce to you tonight's guest, Heather Slinkard. Heather, tell us a little bit about you and what you do and how you got involved with the Tower Garden.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much, Melodian. Well, my name is Heather Slinkard. I am a certified health coach. I proudly own a franchise with the Juice Plus company. And what I do, I love to inspire others towards better health through nutrition. I love to work with individuals, with schools, nonprofits, anybody that works with people that are in need of food. And one of the ways that I do that is through Tower Gardens. Yeah.
Awesome.
I got involved with Tower Gardens 6 years ago. My husband and I purchased our first Tower Garden. I was sort of doubtful that it was going to work because plants typically scream when they come to our house, no, not her, because they know they're going to die. So I wasn't quite sure how the Tower Garden would go, but the beautiful thing about it is I cannot kill any plants on the Tower Garden, and it's given us years of produce.
Now, I know you all, if you've been following me for even half a minute, you know that last year, probably about last year, I switched to, during the pandemic, I became pretty plant-based. I would like to lie to you and say it was because I was overly concerned about my health, and that was part of it, but also a good part of it was you couldn't buy any meat. So so I made the switch. Yes. And I discovered that I felt better. I just felt better being mostly plant-based, and I don't miss the meat at all. And I can honestly say I haven't had any red meat in, I can't remember when. We do occasionally eat chicken and fish, but I can't remember the last time I had any kind of red meat at all. So why is it so important? Why is plant-based making this business? I know Juice Plus is all about plant-based products. So why do I feel so much better now that I'm more plant-based?
So I love that happened to you. The reason why is because I'd like you to picture an apple. And if you cut that apple in half and you put lemon juice on half of it, it stays nice and fresh. If you leave the other half without lemon juice, what does it typically do?
It's icky.
Yeah, it turns brown. And that is sort of the picture inside of our bodies. So there's something called oxidative stress, and it happens inside of our bodies every day. But the reason why you feel better is because when you put plants like fruits and vegetables and berries into your system, those are called antioxidants. And so they fight that oxidative stress. So you go from your body being, the yucky side of the apple to being a lot healthier because you're feeding your body exactly what it needs. And most people do feel tremendously better when they tend towards the plant-based eating.
Awesome. Okay, so why can't I just do like canned vegetables or frozen vegetables? And I have to admit, my husband was skeptical. when I don't have a tower garden, mostly because I have cats, and I'm looking at that going, my cats are going to see that and go, fountain, mom bought us our own fountain. How cool is that? But I do have a garden, and I know my husband, when I first, because our yard is not set up for gardening, we had to actually build beds and everything, and I know he was not totally sold on the concept of gardening when we started, but even he is beginning to admit that, those fresh vegetables just taste better. So why are fresh vegetables best, and why is growing our own best if we possibly can?
Great questions. So growing our own is best because you're in control of that plant. The produce that you buy from the store, you do not know where it's come from. You don't know the growing conditions. And I can almost guarantee you that it has not grown to its full potential. What happens in the last 2 weeks of the growth cycle is that's when all of the nutrients flood into that particular crop, let's say lettuce. That's when lettuce gets all of its nutrients. So it tastes better out of your garden because you're letting that lettuce plant grow to its full potential. Like I said before, you're also in charge of if you choose to do pesticides or whatever or not. I sort of hope you're choosing that or not. But that's why it tastes better, is because it has all the nutrition in it.
Okay, now I'm hearing all the people out there already screaming about how hard it is to garden. And I'll admit it's not easy. It's labor, right? It's manual labor. And this summer in particular, it's not been easy because we've been fighting the drought and weeks of no rain and triple-digit temperatures. So it's been a challenge, and yes, many of my plants did not bear as well as in the past.
Right.
I didn't get any lettuce at all. They gave up the ghost like the very first week. So, but
yes,
it's been a struggle. So, but the tower garden makes it easy.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Normally I have a dog right now wanting to get up on my lap, so you're good. But anyway, the tower garden, I've heard people that have one tell me how easy it is with the tower garden. So there's none of that backbreaking labor, and you don't have to worry about temperature fluctuations and everything. So how does that make it so easy? Why is it so easy to garden with a tower garden?
So the tower garden is easy because I call it a plug and play. It's that easy. So it takes about 30 minutes to put a tower garden together. I'm going to move my screen here so you can see my tower garden real quick. And you'll see that there's little pods in it, like right here. I'm going to pull this one out real quick. So there's these little pods. They hold, this is sort of wet, but it holds something called rock wool. And that's just the medium that we put our seeds into. So you put your tower garden together, you put your rock wool inside of this little thing called the net pot. And it's just a plastic pot. And then you plug it into your tower garden. You didn't see any dirt on that. And there's a reason for that. So tower gardens don't use dirt. What the man did that developed the tower garden did is he looked at all of the nutrients that are in healthy soil, and then took those nutrients and made them into a liquid. So the tower garden has liquid nutrients and no dirt. So therefore, we don't have any weeds, which is awesome. And the tower garden is run completely on 2 timers. So there is, for this particular tower garden, it has a 13-gallon tank at the bottom of it. So you put 13 gallons of water, then you put your nutrients in it, and you start the timer. The timer runs that pump, and so the water and the nutrients go up the middle of the tower garden. You see sort of it's hollow in the middle of here. And so it comes up to the top, and it's sort of like a rain shower. And it showers the nutrients and water over the roots. And that's all done on a timer also. So that's why I call it plug and play. You decide what crops you want to raise. Anything that grows above ground, no trees, no bushes, but anything else that grows above ground, and you can grow it on the tower garden using 98% less water than a traditional garden, and taking up 90% less space.
Okay, so anything, now I'm sitting here trying to picture, I mean, I could see like lettuce and some things grow, but like how would anything? So if I wanted to plant corn, how would I grow?
Yes.
Really?
I have seen corn. I've seen a picture of corn on a tower garden.
I'm intrigued now. I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with the cats.
Yeah.
And like things that grow on vines, like watermelon, cantaloupe.
Yes.
Seriously. Okay.
Yes. Now, I will say the one caveat to that is this tower garden that you're looking at is called the home tower garden. It's a smaller version of another tower garden, which is called the flex. The flex is the one that I put outside. As soon as, it stops freezing, and that's where I grow our watermelon, our zucchini, our squash, the big viney things. Because right now we're sitting in a 398 square foot tiny home. So I don't have a lot of room for viney stuff running everywhere. So maybe you can hear that now. That's the tower garden turning on. And it sounds like a waterfall.
Maybe a little, yeah. Maybe
Maybe a little.
Yeah. It's quiet. Yeah. It's pretty quiet.
Yeah, it really is. And it's super relaxing because you sort of get to have your own waterfall inside your home. So there are differences in those two tower gardens, but on the inside, we love to grow our own strawberries all through the year, and best tasting strawberries I have ever had. So some other things that we grow, I love to cook, so I like my fresh spices, herbs and spices. So rosemary, parsley, sage, dill, thyme. Yeah, and then the other things we grow is strawberries, different types of lettuces, spinach, kale, basil. I love the basil off of it. The celery is amazing.
Oh,
so
you can grow celery,
celery. Oh, and it just keeps growing and keeps growing. Yeah. So whatever you like to eat, that's what you can grow.
How big is the one that goes on your porch? Would it go on my porch?
So yeah, you mean the outside one, the flat?
Uh-huh.
It is about the circumference of a hula hoop. So not super big. The home, gosh, well, it would be a very small hula hoop, not a full size one. Actually, I have those measurements. So the home is 24 inches around, whereas the flex is 30 inches around. So it's a little bit of a difference. The flex tower garden is also better outside because it holds 20 gallons of water. So like if you had a storm come up, that amount of water is going to keep it much more stable, whereas the home tower garden with 13 gallons of water may not do so well.
Now I am intrigued. Like I said, I've thought they were pretty cool looking, and I've seen other, planting systems, and I've never gotten any of them because they either didn't look like they were big enough to really grow anything, to be honest, on like some of these arrow gardens and things, or
Right.
the cat problem. Okay.
Yes.
Like to play in the water. So, but I didn't know you had one that I could just set outside. Now I'm intrigued.
Yes.
To think about this. So, is there what else do we need to know about him? Tell us everything we need to know. Give us a little tour. Give us a little whatever you need. I'm intrigued now. I want to know more.
Okay. So I will do sort of a close up. If you can see, I started these seedlings about a week ago. Some plants grow faster than others. Here's another one. Oh, there are LED lights on the tower garden. They seriously light up a pretty good sized room. And then, the energy that they use is very minimal. So you can turn more lights off on your house and save on your electric bill, is what we do. In the top of this home tower garden, you'll see these little squares. So these are for microgreens, and microgreens are super cool because they are at the top of their growth within 2 weeks. They grow super fast. They're wonderful for your body, lots of nutrition packed into those. And they make your salads fun, they're crunchy. I tried some microgreens that were carrot microgreens, and they just blew my mind. I thought it was awesome. So I'm going to be planting some of those in here. One other cool thing. So it's not just a plastic tower garden. It is made out of a food grade plastic. And that's really, really important because that means that there's no chemicals in that will leach into your food. I've heard people say, well, I'll go down to, big box store and get my PVC and put it together and make my own. But that plastic does have chemicals in it, that could possibly leach. So huge safety factor there. And I don't say that to sell a tower garden, but just out of human concern, I would be really careful of that. Tower garden is anticipated to have a 20-year lifespan when it's outside, when it's exposed to the elements. This tower garden inside will outlive me, I'm pretty sure. And I'm still relatively young. So it's an investment. One of the other things I'll tell you, because it's always a question, is how much does a tower garden cost? So I will say first that Juice Plus, our mission statement is to inspire healthy living around the world. So we try to keep our prices as competitive as possible and allow people to pay for their tower garden or their other products monthly. So that really helps. To get a tower garden, we don't do, credit checks or, money down, go to your bank and get a loan, nothing like that. So this particular unit is the home. You can pay $85 a month for 12 months and it's yours. If you don't like doing payments, it's $1,020 for the whole unit. Comes with absolutely everything except the water. So when you think about $85 a month, if you look at your food budget and you look at how much you're spending on produce, if you're spending, let's say $12 a week, maybe a little bit more than that on produce, you can just take that money and put it towards your tower garden. So it's pretty economical. And then the upkeep for it, the mineral blend that we put in it comes in gallon jugs. You get 2 of those gallon jugs for $60, and it will last you at least a year, possibly longer. So, the costs that go along with it, like the rock wool, is you get 98 of those for $21. Yeah, the only other cost you would have is particular seeds that you want to grow. Then of course, you have to purchase those. But I'm sure our family has saved hundreds of dollars in produce. And like when we were all going through the pandemic, we had our tower gardens set up, but I heard from a lot of people that produce was very hard to find and not good quality when you did find it, and the prices were high. So so thankful to have our tower garden, and that's one reason why I highly suggest it to people if you want to be in control of your food supply. This is a great way to go.
How much is the big one?
The big one is actually less because it doesn't have the LED lights on it. So if it's outside, you have plenty of sunlight. So it's $55 a month for 12 months, or the pay in full is $670.
Sweet. I'm
Yeah.
getting me a big one. Yeah, I'm getting me a big one.
Yes.
Because that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So much easier than digging in the garden. My poor husband's going to be upset because he built those boxes. We'll put something else in.
Well, and I encourage people, keep doing the container growing. When you get to the end of the growing season, there's a lot you can do with it. To sort of go back to one question that you asked, having your produce fresh is best. But the second best is frozen. If you can buy produce that is flash frozen, right after it's picked, that has a good amount of nutrition in it. The last would be canned, just because there's salt added to that, and not quite as fresh. So sorry, I missed answering that question. But having your own, having it fresh is the best.
Well, you've convinced me. Like I said, now I just have to figure out where I'm going to put it, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I think I need 2, one inside and one outside. I just have to figure out how to keep the cats from playing in it.
Yes,
Is the
I
water?
actually, I have a solution for that. Our oldest son did this because him and his wife have 5 cats, I'm pretty sure. So if you go to like Lowe's or Home Depot, you can find a plastic chicken wire. It's a green color. And so what he did, he bought enough of that to wrap the tower garden. And then he used a carabiner to attach, the two sides together. And that way, it was a little bit of a guard to keep the cats off of it.
Oh, cool. I didn't think of that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been very informative. Because I'm sold. I'll be calling you. But for those of the people who don't know you personally and can't just pick up the phone tomorrow and go, Heather, I want a garden. Can you tell us how to get a hold of you? And I'm going to put your link and everything in the description on the video. But if you could give us just tell us right now how to get a hold of you, that'd be great.
Yes. Well, my website is my name put together, heatherslinkard.towergarden.com. And have an awesome website filled with lots of information. And we also have ongoing support. So it's not about, buying a tower garden and then we wish you luck. We have ongoing support. We have a Facebook group that has modules you can go through to learn from. And then of course our corporate office is, available during working hours to answer any questions. But I'm pretty confident I can answer most questions about tower gardens. So if you want to shoot me a text, my phone number is 479-616-0621.
All righty. Well, thank you. This is, like I said, this has been great.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm not the only one sitting here trying to figure out where they're going to stick their tower garden. So I appreciate you telling us all about it. And again, I'm going to put all of Heather's information in the description. So anybody who wants one of these little gems can reach out to her and grab one. Heather, thank you for doing this with me now, because people asking me and I had no idea. So I hope you've answered all their questions. And if you haven't, if she hasn't answered all your questions, now you know how to get a hold of her. I'm sure she'll be happy to get back to you with anything you need to know.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Melodian. I hope you have a great night.
You too. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.